The haunting inspired by The Conjuring. Emily and her family had just moved into an old colonial house in the countryside. With its creaking wooden floors, faded wallpaper, and an eerie stillness in the air, the house had a certain charm, though it also felt unsettling. Emily, being a fan of horror stories, joked about the house being haunted. Her parents brushed it off as her overact imagination. The first night was uneventful, but on the second night, Emily woke up to a faint knocking sound. It was rhythmic, coming from the walls of her room. She dismissed it as the house settling and went back to sleep. By the third night, the knocking turned into scratching. Emily bolted upright in bed, clutching her blanket. She followed the sound with her eyes, and her heart sank when she saw a shadowy figure in the corner of her room. It was faint at first, like smoke taking shape. She blinked, and the figure was gone. The next morning, she told her parents, but they chalked it up to her imagination. "You're just getting used to the new house," her father said. However, that day, Emily found a strange object in the basement while exploring, a music box with a spinning ballerina. As she wound it up, a haunting melody played, filling the air with an oppressive silence. That night, Emily woke again, but this time, the scratching was louder, accompanied by whispers. The music box, which she had left on the kitchen counter, was now on her bedside table, playing its eerie tune on its own. The shadowy figure appeared again, but this time it was closer. "Leave," a guttural voice whispered, echoing through her room. Emily screamed, and her parents rushed in. She pointed to the corner, but the figure had vanished. Her mother noticed the music box and asked where Emily had found it. When Emily mentioned the basement, her mother's face turned pale. Over the next few days, the activity escalated. Doors slammed shut on their own, objects moved, and the air grew colder with each passing moment. Emily's little brother Timmy began talking to someone invisible, referring to her as the lady in the black dress. Desperate, the family called a priest to bless the house. As the priest walked through the home, he paused near the basement door. "There's something dark here," he said gravely. "Something that doesn't want to leave." That night, the family gathered in the living room, too terrified to sleep. Suddenly, the lights flickered, and the music box's haunting melody began to play from the basement. Emily's father grabbed a flashlight and descended the stairs, but moments later, his scream echoed through the house. When the family found him, he was on the floor, trembling, his eyes wide with terror. "She's here," he stammered. "She doesn't want us to stay." The family fled the house that night, leaving everything behind. Months later, a new family moved in, unaware of the horrors that lurked within. As they unpacked, the youngest daughter found a dusty music box in the basement. She wound it up, and the haunting melody began once more. The house had claimed its next victims.